like you think the song is over, like you think the song is over, and then it goes and then it comes back. Charlie, my guy, you're welcome to the studios.
Thank you for having me now.
Congratulations.
And thank you.
Charlie, Wada, have you slept?
As in slept.
Well, it's been a while though. It's been like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So you're over it.
No.
Ish. Tell me, how was the feeling? How was the feeling?
I don't take it for granted, and
Okay.
I will not pretend that I am not excited or I wasn't excited. I am. I'm very excited, and I thank God for it because we've been working hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know a bit of my story, so
I don't know anything. I do not know anything. I know that I'm just happy. Male vocal performance of the year.
Yes, please.
Nice. When the nominees were rolling, when the presenter said, and the nominees are, and the nominees were rolling, how are you feeling in your stomach?
Okay, so for me, anytime they mention the category that I was involved in, I just try to take myself out. I'm like, okay, if it comes to me, I'll take. If it doesn't come, I'm okay. But I mean, for me, the shocker was the songwriter of the year.
Songwriter of the year.
Yeah, I mean, was it that one? I think no. For that one, I was seated. The first award, which was the male vocalist of the year, I had just finished my performance with PAC on stage. So I was walking back to my seat when they mentioned the name, and I was shocked. Like I tell her, and I was like, "Yo, me?" And my producer was like, "Yeah, Perez, no go."
I was looking at your face. You were like this. Like I was looking at your face. I was looking at your face the whole time. Your mouth hung open for a full 30 seconds. You were like.
But I.
Were you really shocked?
I was
because you looked shocked.
I really was.
Why were you shocked? Did you not think that you would win that award?
For me, at the point, I was even satisfied with the nominations, and in my mind, even if I don't win any award, that's okay. I mean, that's okay. The recognition alone with the nomination is enough for me, and. When they mentioned my name, I was like, okay, Perez, okay, you've done something. I mean, God has really done something through you. And for me, it was very encouraging because from where I'm coming from.
Where are you coming from?
That place is far off. I always say, one of the reasons why I'm passionate about helping young men, the last time I came here, I spoke about it. And in as much as I'm not able to do it on the scale that I would want to do it, the little that I can, I'm doing is because of my experience. When you're growing up and you don't have people around you. Most of my life, I grew up I was raised by a single mother most of my life till I got to JSS.
Okay.
And it was the same woman who had to make sure that I was dressed up for school. And then she would go to the market. She's a Mokola woman. So this same woman would go to Mokola to sell and make sure my school fees is paid. So she didn't really have time for me. And I did not blame her for it. But the little time we spent together, she showed me so much love. She used to call me Nini. Impa, and Impa means my father. So that's how she really. But there were some details that she couldn't pay to my growth, and I don't blame her for it. She was just being a good mother, and I love her for that. So for me, and I realized that there are a lot of young people out there like that. You see these boys out there drinking, smoking, and all that. It's not because they know better. Some of them they actually don't. There's no mentor in the house. There's nobody, and there's nothing to look up to. So I grew up learning a lot of things that I had to spend some years trying to unlearn them. Some I'm still struggling with, but some by the grace of God I've absolutely overcome them, and I'm grateful to God for it. So I also want to make sure I help young people, like especially young boys, because I realized that we don't really pay attention to the boys anymore like we used to, because there's this assumption that if you are a male you have a lot of advantages, which is true to some extent, but then there are some, and especially the mind, our mind, the mind of how to think of as a young man, because you see a society that doesn't have its males head screwed on properly cannot be glued together.
Mm.
Yes, because it is the father who actually who holds the home together.
Is that right?
Yes, I mean there might be other school of thoughts, but I believe that, I mean, if the mom and the father are in the house together and the roles are well defined, the mom is playing a role, the father is playing the role. I mean, it makes the work even easier for both parents, and it also helps the child in their growth and their development. I know I grew up in a single home, but there are people who grew up with their mom and their father, and they've been through worse than I have been through. Like the mom and father, they only see them once a week.
Yeah, that's
true.
True.
And they are raised by. I literally had to bring myself up. Like, I had to raise myself. My grandma also died at my grandma was the one doing it, but she died. She died when I was just getting to JSS or so. So, I mean, I had a lot of questions when I was growing up. There was nobody to ask those questions. So I had to turn to friends. I mean, you know this whole thing.
I can imagine.
Yeah. So, but for me, I'm glad I found God. And I'm glad I paid attention to the messages that I took my time to listen to.
How did you come to find God?
My mom did her best. Like, we were in church every Sunday when I was young. She actually took me to church. She pushed me to go and join. First I joined the instrumentalist and I was playing drums. And then one day I was playing the drums and I made a mistake and the whole church had to stop and look at me. I was so shy that I didn't go to church again after. I didn't go to rehearsal for the drumming again after that because I was shy. But imagine if I had somebody who had said, "Oh, it's okay. I mean, we all make mistakes in life. And it took me so many years to realize that it wasn't that bad. It wasn't a big deal. I could have just gone back the next week, and right now I could have been one of the topmost drummers in town. But because of that, I stopped going for drumming. And I was trying to be myself in church in a way too, and they weren't too welcoming. So I stopped going to church right after infant swim school. I never went. Even in infant swim, I never stepped foot in SU or anything. The whole church thing was like, Charlie, you people say you are fake. That was my mind. So it was when I went to university, it even got worse because I met new friends. There was more freedom for me than before. So I explored, Bolly. Yeah.
Actually, I don't know.
Okay, but I explored. I mean, as a young man with a lot of adrenaline pumping in my blood, clubbing, we'll go to the club. You want details, right?
I think this conversation has taken a route I didn't think it would. But as we are here, or as we're talking about the matter, and we're talking about encouraging young men who have maybe lost their way, I think we should talk about it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. What exactly were you doing with your time in university?
So there are two places in my education that, okay, for university, because of even the fact that I had to go on set, I went to NAFTI. So apart from the theory, we had a lot of practicals.
Yeah.
So I had to go on set and everything. So there I picked up stuff I learned because I'm a very practical learner. But my whole life in SS, honestly, if you ask me, I don't remember.
Infant swim
school, I don't remember. I don't really remember the experience because, to be very honest with you, it wasn't a place where maybe your teachers are paying extra attention to you in any way. No, it was mass education. So there's something we call the faithful. It to tell you that even if your teacher doesn't come to class, make sure you learn. And it made it difficult for some of us because some of us, we need to be taught so we can understand. Some people can comprehend on their own, and that's okay. But we are all not the same.
Yeah.
So funny enough, in infant I wasn't much of a bad boy. The only bad thing I did in infant was that we will leave school and come and record demos in Accra.
You were already making music in infant swim school?
I made my first set of demos when I was in class 5.
Class who?
5. Yes.
Wait, what's a demo? Is it a full song?
Yeah, like you go to the studio, they play some instrumental, like a rough instrumental, you sing over it. And I had a couple of those on a cassette. And I was walking around with it with the Walkman. So when I meet my friends, they'll listen to it. So in infant swim, I had a group in infant swim called Revolution Soldiers. We were the first to record our first album.
Revolution Soldiers?
Yeah. So if anybody...
What kind of music were you making then?
Oh, we're making love music.
Do you remember any of it?
Hey, where do I... Let me see. I don't. It's been a while. But we're selling. We sold out, actually. We sold out in in Wesley Girls. We sold out in.
You had
Holy Town.
shows.
No, like our
You-
CDs. We
You,
were selling
you
CDs.
actually recorded it.
Recorded it, put it on the CD. We branded it, and we did posters. Took it to.
And
the
you don't
store,
remember
so-
the music?
Because you're asking me on the spot. But I remember everybody that was part. We had Spliff Star, we had Suicide, we had Sa,
Suicide, Splifster.
we had
What was your name?
my so they used to call me Nasty in school.
Nasty.
Yes, Nasty. Then I changed to Prolific. Then I came to Paris.
Wow. You've been on a journey.
Yes. So for me in school and in France, I didn't really do much. But when I got to NAFTI and I saw the freedom there, we were not attending lectures. Our lectures we had our lectures in the beer bar. Do you understand? Because I found people I could talk to. I found friends. Do you understand? So we go and sit down. We would talk. Like maybe we attend just one lecture in the morning. This is from level 100 though. And so that's when I picked up a habit of smoking. It was in level 100 and I started. So I said, oh, I only smoke on occasion. So when we sit down and then maybe I'll smoke one stick or something. But then I realized that it started continuing. So it got to a point now when I close from class and I'm coming, I'll pass by some place and buy some sticks. I never bought a pack of cigarettes because I said if I buy it, I'll become a chain smoker. But I honestly was smoking even more than a chain smoker. Because I go and buy 4, I'll come back. I go and buy 3, I'll come back. And then it became a lifestyle. The day I realized that no, I had gone too far was one day I said, you know what, I quit smoking. So I took the pack. Like usually when you buy like 10 or something, they put it in the pack for you. They put it in the pack that they have sold out. So I took it. There was like 6 or something in it. I took it and I said, okay, I'm not going to smoke again. I threw it in the bin. So I was there around 11 p.m. and I started craving for cigarette. Now, could you believe I went into the bin and I picked the cigarette and I lit it?
A commercial bin.
Yes. It wasn't my bin, like a bin outside. It was a compound house, so just imagine. I searched for it. So then the thing just hit me and I'm like, yo, bro, this is not you. You're going too far. I mean, like really? Charlie, this is junkie level.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this is junkie level, bro. And so there I caught myself and I'm like, no, Charlie, there has to be better than this. And so that was when my mind, it first started from the mind. My mind started battling with some of these things. And then there was this resistance between who I was and who I wanted to be. There was this fight between myself. And then I remember I did some work with Anita Eskin. We did, was it Fashion 101? And I was the sound person. I did that. So Anita paid me some money. So when she paid me the money, I said, okay, you know what, let me upgrade my studio. I had a small recording studio. So I went to Accra. I wanted to buy equipment. And you know, even though I grew up in the church and I stopped going to church and everything, I still had a relationship with God. I pray every now and then. I never went to church. But I have this thing that I do. Anytime I meet a challenge in anything, I'm like, Holy Spirit, help me. And funny enough, he shows up irrespective of the state that I am in, whether I'm drunk or whatever. He will show up and help me. So as soon as I entered the shop to buy the equipment, then I heard a voice in Ghana. I brushed it off. I said, nah, this thing it's not possible. It's not going to happen. Because I had gotten a fee, I don't know what I should say, an inclination that I should sell everything in the studio and go and donate it to a church, or I should take the equipment and go and take it and go and donate it in the church. And I said, no. I mean, it's not the voice of God. It's something. So I was going to buy new equipment to come and add. And then the thing said, if these things that you're going to buy, they get burnt, what would you do? I said, oh, and I ignored the voice. I bought the things, I brought it home. I think I bought it around 1st December or so. Could you believe that a day before Christmas, I lost everything to fire?
Whoa.
Yes. A day before Christmas.
How?
I woke up in the morning. I put my equipment on. A friend came. I left him in the studio. My mom lived next door in Keownyacheku Chamaba. You know, I'm a guy, so I just went there just to go and get a sponge or something. So I came back. So because my mom lives in the next house, I climbed the wall. So I climbed the wall, I came back, and then I heard my friend come out of the room. Pro, the studio is burning. I'm like, yo, how? I run and I get there, and then there's fire. And there was a lot of foam in the studio too.
Of course.
So it easily caught fire. And I cried like a baby because my studio was it was my exit point. I literally spent every free time I have, I spend it in the studio. So from there, like, okay, now for me, in my mind, I feel like, okay, God, now you stripped me naked. That's fine. I'm yours. What's up? what do we do? Where, like, what's the journey now from here? So that's when everything started. So one day I told my mom that when I Kenya someone Kenya, which means if you are going to church today, I'll go
I'll go with you.
And she was surprised. It was actually
Because you weren't going.
It was actually fellowship, and we were supposed to go at 6 o'clock. And I came to the house at 3. I'm like, won't you people go? He said, oh, we are going right now. Let's go. But it wasn't time yet.
Okay.
So she found a way to make me sit down. She got ready, and then we got there. And then that was the beginning of my transformation. And then my understanding and perspective of God began to change. And I realized that, listen, there's a bigger destiny on my life that I need to. So all those times I was working with you at GH1, there were things.
So this was before GH1?
No, this was even during GH1, some of these things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you were this cool guy. I mean, I didn't know you too well outside the studios. Just, I knew you as Frank.
Yeah.
The sound guy.
Mm-hmm.
So many years down the line, you are an established gospel artist.
Yes.
Did you see this coming at any point in time?
I didn't see, but I believed it.
Okay.
I believed it because I had received prophecies that there was a man who gave me a prophecy, and that was way back, even before I even transformed. And he said, hey, big man, if you knew what God was going to make you in some years to come. I thought he was joking, so I didn't take him serious. So it was after my transformation, and I got confirmations from people, And so even though I didn't even see myself like that, I believed it. And I think that's faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen. I didn't see it, but I had faith, and I put work in the faith too as well.
Wow. That's quite a story. For many people who listen to your music, you look like a church boy from the get-go who has just been in church and done the church stuff for as long as you could do it.
Wow.
That's what it looks like. I had a story about Iwalelala, that the funds you used to produce that song, you actually meant to start a rice business with it or something like that.
No, yes. Where did you hear that from?
Yeah, I heard.
Okay, so
okay, at home.
Yes, no, Omoke wanted to sell rice or flour and oil and those things. My friend and I got a contract to do some business.
Mm-hmm.
So when I earned the money, I told my friend that, you know what, this money, Charlie Mo could do some business. Let's invest it into business. And it was like, okay, no problem. Mo could do. So we're going to look for a shop and everything. And I woke up one day, I'm like, you know what, bro, let's do this recording. Because we were torn between the recording and the business. I was like, Charlie, I said, let's do it. And he said, okay, let's do it. And so we put all the money there. We put it there. We put the team together, paid for everything, and then we did the recording. And funny enough, when we finished the recording, we didn't have money for promotion.
Iwalelala.
Yeah, we didn't have money for promotion. Like everything that happened on Iwalelala was like, it's purely organic.
You didn't have money for promotion.
It's purely organic.
So you didn't promote Iwalelala.
Purely organic.
You recorded the song. You did the video.
Did the video, and then I gave it to the first station that played it was it Class FM? No, it was Sunny FM, and they played it in the morning, and it was on my status and stuff, and by evening, the song was everywhere. So I said, okay. So I think I did a $50 promo on IG, and that was it.
Wow.
Yes.
Because this Iwalelala is actually more popular than the other one. What's the other one that we played? Blematesa.
Yes.
It was popular when it was popular.
Yes.
But when Iwalelala came out,
it became
that's it was the most popular gospel song in my opinion for a long time.
Yes.
You didn't do any real promotion.
No. It was one person that I didn't even know how I got on the station. I spoke to the producer, I think Hagler. Mm-hmm. And Hagler was like, okay, come on the show. So I was supposed to go on the show, Andy Dusty. And that show, he was not going, that day he wasn't going to come. And Hagler was like, oh, let's wait on the day that he will come so that you can be on it, so that he will interview you. And that was it.
Wow.
Hagler didn't take me one CD. Andy didn't give me. I don't even know how I ended up on that show. And that interview also, that had a lot of people listening to it. And then another radio station, another TV station. I'm like, okay. I think it was just God trying to prove to me that if you do this thing,
Won't God do it?
huh?
Won't God do it?
Oh, He can do it exceedingly abundantly.
Yeah. Well, do you think about the rice sometimes?
The rice business.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't thought about it.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about it.
And this is the song that has won you 2 prestigious awards.
Yes, yes. And for me, one of the things that excites me are the testimonies I hear that comes with a song. Like, I meet somebody at a brewery and he said, yo, bro, I nearly killed myself,
God forbid.
but I heard your song. I was ready. Everything was ready. But then I heard your song on radio and it just transformed me. Somebody told me that the wife was having complications when she was in labor and she asked for the song. And they kept playing the song back and forth, and then somebody too was telling me that for the whole 9 months when she was pregnant, she had a lot of complications, but it was just my song that kept on encouraging her. Like, I think it's just God. Imagine if I had invested all these things into something that God hadn't called me for. I'm sure I would have been frustrated by now. And even, it's not easy finding purpose now. It's not easy. I mean, maybe it might be easy with people if they have people who can see and direct them. But some of us, Charlie, it wasn't easy. We've done all sorts of things. I've sold carpets before. I've sold wallpapers before. What else? I've sold sneakers before. People who have been on my WhatsApp for a while will know. Charlie, I have done all sorts of things before. Like a lot. A lot. Charlie. But it's all good. I mean, it makes us better people.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm a bit emotional, but I'm grateful.
Right there with you.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you.
How do you feel when people come to you and tell you testimonies about what your song has done for them?
It's actually very humbling because I mean, you know what that means? Like, look at this guy, to where is he coming from? That's how I feel. And it tells me, like, it makes me humble and tells me, like, that, there's an extra power that is working in me, and it is not me. Because if you leave me to myself, I'll fail. So I always give thanks to God. I always give thanks to God.
Now you're making me emotional.
Oh, no, it as well. It as well.
I'm talking to Perez Music. This is an inspirational story, if you ask me. And oftentimes we get lost. We all get lost. There's this song that I like by Nightbird from America's Got Talent. She passed to cancer. There's a line in the song that says that it's okay if you're lost. We're all a little lost. And it's all right. So it works. It works out. It has worked out for you. And I hope that we can all tap into this, knowing that it will work out for all of us. You're listening to Between Hours live on Asasi Radio. I'm hanging out with Perez Music. You can send your messages to him now. 020-000-9951 is a number to reach me on. 020-000-9951. My name is Nat Shoko. We'll be right back. I'm hanging out with Perez Music. You're listening to Between Hours live on Asasi Radio. We've got a church going on in here. Hi, now please tell him we love him. God bless him. God bless his mother. See what the Lord has done. When God is calling you, you cannot hide. Perfect. When God was calling you, you let it go to miss call. Miss call. You didn't pick. Perfect.
I can't miss that call.
You can't miss that call.
No.
So you picked it.
I returned the call.
It's in Yamejuma now.
I returned the call.
Perez Music, you are fire, total fire. Please, I want to know. I want to know when you feature some of the urban gospel artists in your music. Sir, okay. Now, good listening to Perez. He's an inspiration. He's a blessing. He's a blessing to the body of Christ. Congratulations to him and on his awards. God bless him dearly. This is Selassie from Adenta. Great show as always. Thank you. He has some voice notes. I'll see if we can play them. Now, please ask him. He was in the world and God called him into ministry. How does he feel about gospel artists who are in ministry and then they suddenly go into secular?
It's a question.
It's a question. Yes.
I think I tried to answer this question on my I did an IG live on Friday and I spoke about it.
Okay.
First of all, it starts with your conviction. The first question you need to answer when you feel a call on your life or when you want to do something for God is, why are you doing it? And the first thing you need to know is to know the God for which you are working for. Because there are most of us in service who don't even understand who God is. We don't even understand his ways. It's just most of it, for lack of a better word, it's just a play of emotions. Or it's just us working with our emotions. Because if you understand who God is, the Bible says that for whoever comes to God must first know that he is. First of all, that's the first thing, knowing who God is. So if you know who God is and you are into gospel music and you are doing it and it is not working, you're not going to shake, because you understand the person you are working for. And you know that when he does it big. But he does it in his own time, not in your time. So if things are not working out for you and they are not working according to your time, you do not get frustrated. Or even if you get frustrated, there's hope for you. And there's your faith is strong. Do you understand? The more you know God, the deeper your faith. So if somebody comes into secular music, it comes into gospel music and goes back to secular music, the first, I don't want to say you can't really, the question is, how strong was his faith? What was his understanding for coming to do what he's doing? Because we don't do these things mainly for profit. We are not doing it because we want to be famous. Those things are byproduct. We are not doing it because of the awards. Those things are byproduct. That is not our main focus. But there's an industry that focuses on that. So if you're coming into gospel music or you're coming into ministry and you don't get your motive and understanding right, you might miss it. Because the person we are working for, he's different. You know?
What's your motive and understanding?
I want to see people better than I am. I want to see, you see, my process has been too long. I want to see people's process shorten. So that's why I don't shy away from sharing my experience, because I believe that by sharing it, I can at least change somebody's mindset.
Yeah.
And it is my desire that my music will encourage people, so that if you know Christ at this level, by the time you finish encountering my music, at least there should be an increase. I cannot do it all. There are other people also coming to continue. But for me, I like to see at least, you make a better effort to become a better person in your walk with God. That's the main aim. And that's the main thing. All the other things, they are byproducts. When they come, we enjoy them, but they are not our focus.
Did you feel at any point that this gospel music thing will not work?
No. The moment I decided to do it, I didn't want to go back. There was no going back for me. The only time, there have been times when I have been frustrated. Do you understand? I've been frustrated, but not frustrated to entirely stop. But I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I can do this part-time. So let me do some other business. For me, giving up was not an option, but maybe doing some small businesses on the side. And there are times too that some issues can hit you, and you'll be like, Charlie, but God, why? Like, what made me write here, Walalala?
What made you write here, Walalala?
It was, I just woke up one day and some issues that I was trying to deal with, they all just came back at me suddenly. And I had built my studio, like put things together. And then all of a sudden, I lost everything that very day. They just came, they carried everything away. So I was like,
physically carried your studio?
Physically, like, it wasn't robbery. It was some long issues. Those ones I don't want to get into it yet, but at the right time I will. So I was asking God, why? We are doing this thing together. I've spent all this money to get all these things. Like it was a fresh studio that I was trying to put together. And then you make me lose all these things. So that day I'm like, you know what, you and I, we are not friends anymore. Like, I don't, you know what, let me just go my way. Go and do something else and find somebody else to do this thing that you want a person to do, because, but I will, like, let's say, I don't know if you've ever been, like, you are in love with somebody and you tell the person that, you know what, me and you, we stop. But deep down in your heart, the thing when you talk is not coming from your heart. You're just saying it because of the situation that you're in. So I found myself there. So I closed the place and I left and I just went, I went my own way. But even when I was out and I was in town, I was having conversations with the Holy Spirit. I was talking to him. So It was around 7 p.m. I was coming back. I was walking around Accra Academy just behind that place. Then I heard the song. I heard it. I heard it with the words and everything. So I was behind a certain pickup truck. I stopped. And I made the thing. It played in my head. Ma wo here wale ma wo no. E fonko bogbe no. Ni henye la ito ikekpamo. E kukra anya abana. Ma wajebo ni ma ha shele finshon ashia. So there I just picked my phone. It was this phone. I still have that recording here. It was on this phone. And I picked it. And I recorded it. I'm like, okay, I put it down. So when it was time for us, when we took the decision not to do the rice business again, and it was time for us to record, I'm like, you know what, let's do this song. But when we're recording, to be very honest, I want to say a big thank you to my producer, Spunkies, because when we're recording the song, at the point I'm like, you know what, you could dog this song, then do some other songs. And they said, no, parents, it's a nice song, let's do it. And we made it, and here I am.
Look at me now. Look at me now. Wow. Mm-hmm. Speaking of doing other things on the side while still doing gospel music, we've had some conversations in the media about the fact that gospel musicians should not charge as much as secular artists. We are all coming to play the same show. You are big and big, but secular artists charge and they charge. But gospel musicians are working for God. It's ministry, you know. As much as possible, you shouldn't be charging like Ubo show, like a secular artist. How do you feel about that?
For me, I believe that most of the people that make those statements, it's just because they don't want to. They feel like that's the class of people that they can have their way with just because they mention the name of God, so they can manipulate them. I don't know if you get what I mean, or they can take advantage of them. But I think that's very wrong, because first, it's a calling, it's a ministry, but then it's an art. Mm-hmm. We are all artists, you know. But just that my message is different from your message. But even if you should compare the two, even the gospel musicians invest more in their craft in terms of making the music than some of these secular artists.
How?
For instance, like PCS Esther, let me use that example. Or let me even use my performance at the VGMA last year. I had a full band.
Yeah.
I had about 10 BVs on stage. You know, I had to take care of all of them. I had to, and I was playing with a full band, trumpet. I think it was like a 9-man band. Keyboardist, bassist, trumpetist. It was a full set. Do you understand? And other people will come on stage. They are also artists just like I am. And they'll be playing CD. They just have a DJ in the background playing a CD for them, and they are playing song to song, song by song by song. And they might end up being paid more than I will be. I don't think that's fair, honestly, if you ask me. Because the question is, would you want to see my craft progress? Would you because there's something you saw and appreciated.
Yeah.
So would you want to see more? If you want to see more, then pay me my money's worth. And it's the same for even churches. Because you see, some of us, our music actually holds the people in the church down. And especially even the youth. If I have a full urban gospel album, my first album was an urban gospel album. And at that time I did it. It influenced a lot of young people in churches. And that was the aim. So now when they want to listen to Bush, there's a gospel version that they are listening to. But if you invite me to your church and you say that, oh you're a gospel artist, and then you don't want to pay me my money's worth, how do you want me to go back to the studio and produce better music with better sound that can compete globally and compete internationally? If we are representing Christ, we have to represent him topmost. And there's another side of this coin. I know there are other people who don't charge. They don't, when you call them, they don't. And that's also cool, because that is their instruction. Do you understand? That is from their perspective. I know artists that when they were growing up, they never used, or when they were developing as artists, they never used their personal money to do anything. They had people from the churches who are sponsoring them. They took care of them, got them a car and everything. And some of them told them that sit down, learn, develop. And that's okay. Everybody and their grace, and everybody and the pain they go through to become what they want to become, because it's for a purpose. Even if you read the Bible, God did a lot of miracles. Some of them he repeated them, but he never did it the same way. He parted the water twice At a point, he told Moses to use his rod. At a point, he told the prophets to walk in the middle of the water. The same miracle, but in different ways. So, and we are different vessels in the hands of God.
Yeah.
The Bible says that somebody is the head, somebody is the hand. So the choices of the head cannot be compared to the choices of the hand. That's one thing we should understand, and not put everybody in one blanket or one straight box, and say that gospel musicians, so you don't have to charge. Maybe you might not afford to pay me. That's fine. God will bring the person they've raised to pay me what I am worth, and I will appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for taking your time to answer the question.
Thank you too.
I hate that my time is up.
Oh, already?
Yeah, I hate that it's been an hour already. But before you go, what would you leave us with? For people who have come to know you and love your music, are looking forward to hearing more from you. Are you working on something new? Where can we find you? Where can we listen to your music? How can we support your ministry?
Okay, so I actually have a new song ready. It's not out yet,
Nice.
but I have a new one. The one that's playing in the background is
Okay.
myself and Emoji,
Okay.
titled The Light.
Okay.
That's the one I played before we started talking.
Okay.
I have a new song coming out. I have 2 new songs. I'm confused as to which one to release first, but I'm sure by the end of the month we'll decide. If you're looking for my music, I'm on IG as Perez Music 233. The music is spelled with a K, PEREZ MUSIK 233. And I'm on Spotify, I'm on Boomplay. Anywhere you stream your favorite music, I am there. So just make sure you find me there and let's talk. Sometimes I also come on IG to share the word of God, so we can also meet there and have conversations.
What's your IG?
Perez Music 233. It's the same on all my platforms. TikTok, Perez Music 233. The same IG ID. Yeah.
All right. Perez Music 233
Yes, please.
on all social media platforms. Thank you for coming through.
Thank you for
We're
having
so
me.
happy for you. Everybody here is happy for you.
Excited
DJ Perfect doesn't stop playing your music. That's the only gospel song he knows.
but now, I have. Do you have the Amapiano version?
That's the only gospel song DJ. That's the only gospel song DJ
Okay.
Perfect knows.
We did an Amapiano version of it. I don't know if you've heard it before.
Okay, well let's close with it. This is Between Hours live on Asasi Radio. I've been hanging out with Perez Music.